Hey gang, and welcome back. Just a reminder, you can now use the promo code MTGMudsta, all caps, at flipsidegaming.com. You'll get 10% off orders over $10 and help with the channel at the same time. So this week is a little bit different. I've been accumulating a lot of short games, unfortunately, because some people play really well or a deck sometimes just goes off out of control from the get-go. And I wasn't too sure what to do with them, so I put out an impromptu poll on my Patreon page, and a lot of the Patreon supporters said it would be a good idea to put one or two games together. So that's what this is. In this game, Sean is playing his Inalla deck and keeps a hand with Magus of the Wheel, Champion of Wits, Panharmonicon, Cyclonic Rift, 2 mountains, and an island. Matt is playing his Ezuri deck and keeps a hand with Llanowar Elves, Lightning Greaves, 2 forests, Reliquary Tower, Island, and Woodland Stream. Trevor is playing Freyalise and keeps a hand with 3 forests, Caverns of Souls, Soul Ring, Exploration, and Kadama's Reach. And lastly, Mike is playing his Varolz deck and keeps a hand with Deathrite Shaman, Blasting Station, Beseech the Queen, Jared's Orders, Swamp, and Terramorphic Expanse. Trevor wins the die roll and starts us off. Trevor plays a forest, casts Exploration, drops another forest, and casts Skullclamp. Naturally, the entire table is kinda taken aback by this play, and Sean questions how it's even possible. Sean plays an island and passes turn. Matt plays a forest and casts Llanowar Elves before passing. Mike plays Terramorphic Expanse and passes. Trevor's second turn shows no signs of him slowing down, and he plays 2 forests before casting Kadama's Reach, further ramping him out of control. In a stark contrast to the turn before, Sean plays a mountain and passes. Matt plays an island and casts Lightning Greaves. He then attacks Trevor for 1. At the end of turn, Mike sacrifices the Terramorphic to find a forest. Mike plays a swamp and casts Deathrite Shaman before passing. Trevor plays Caverns of Souls, naming elves, and a forest. He then casts Freyalise and upticks her to creative token. He equips the token with the clamp to draw 2 and passes turn. Sean plays a mountain and passes. Matt plays a forest and casts Ezuri. He equips his commander with the Greaves and attacks Freyalise. Mike misses his land for turn, but also recognizes that Trevor needs to be dealt with, so he swings the Deathrite at Freyalise for 1. He then plays Scavenging Ooze in his second main phase and passes. Trevor upticks Freyalise, creating an elf token in his first main phase before casting Vernal Bloom. He floats 2 mana from a forest and uses 1 to equip the token with the clamp to draw 2 cards. Trevor then plays a forest and casts Ulvenwald Hydra to find Nykthos. He uses the remaining floating mana to equip the clamp onto the Hydra and passes. Sean plays a mountain and casts Champion of Wits, to which Trevor reminds Sean that his forest now tapped for 2. Sean draws 2 cards, then discards 2 cards twice. He swings the token at Trevor, which is then promptly eaten by the Hydra. Matt plays Reliquary Tower for his turn and casts Cultivator of Blades, choosing to have the 2 servos come into play. This gives him 3 experience counters, and moving to combat, Matt has the Ezuri trigger put 3 counters on the newly casted Cultivator before passing to Mike. Mike still can't find a land, so he exiles his Terramorphic Expanse with the Deathrite Shaman to get himself a mana, and uses said mana to cast Fleshbag Marauder. Trevor sacrifices his Hydra, drawing 2, Mike lets the Marauder die, Matt kills a servo, and Sean, who's on the phone, has no choice but to kill his champion. Mike then swings the Ooze into Freyalise for 2. Trevor upticks Freyalise and kills the elf with the clamp to draw 2 cards. He then casts Soul Ring and runs out to Tanya's Chosen. Trevor then casts Firehaven Elf to find a tapped forest, and the Chosen gets a counter. Trevor then activates Nykthos for 6 green mana and casts Primordial Sage. He then equips the clamp onto the Firehaven Elf to kill it and draw 2 more cards, and he remembers that the Chosen should have gotten a counter from the Sage coming into play. Trevor then casts Elvish Mystic, drawing from the Sage and giving the Chosen another counter, and he plays his second forest for a turn and casts Jhoira Warcaller, multi-kicking it 3 times. He also gets to draw a card and put another counter on the Chosen. Sean is unfortunately struggling to find a swamp, and he plays a mountain and casts Manifold Insights. He reveals the top 10 cards, and while Matt is selecting, Trevor is very concerned that Mike is just going to combo out and steal the game, and Matt finally decides to give Sean Demonic Tutor, Mike gives Sean Evacuation, and Trevor gives him Vela. Matt plays Woodland Stream, which enters tapped, and casts Night Soil. He then activates the soil, exiling 2 creatures from Sean's graveyard to get a Saproline and gaining experience counter. Moving to combat, Matt puts 4 counters on his servo and passes. Mike finally finds his 3rd land for turn, 3 turns late however, and casts Jared's Orders, putting Bloodghast into his graveyard and Reclamation Sage into his hand. At the end of Mike's turn, Matt activates Night's Soul twice, exiling 2 creatures from both Mike and Trevor's graveyards, gaining 2 more tokens and 2 more experience counters. Trevor plays a forest for turn and upticks Freyalise, making an elf druid. He then casts Elvish Promenade, gaining 4 more elf tokens, and the Chosen gets another counter. Trevor then activates Nykthos, gaining 8 green mana, and casts Craterhoof Behemoth, which draws him a card and gives his Chosen another counter. This gives all his creatures +10/+10. He then casts Beastmaster's Ascension because his creatures aren't already huge, and it decides that it still isn't enough by casting Overwhelming Stampede. This gives his creatures a further +23/+23, and Trevor then rearranges his board, which is almost as big as his biceps at this point. He does so to figure out who can and can't attack, and Trevor then decides to cast Natural Order, killing one of his new elves to go and find Thunderfoot Baloth, giving his creatures a further 2 power and toughness, plus the benefit of trample. Trevor thinks about sending the Chosen and Behemoth at Matt, and realizes he doesn't know how much damage he has, so he breaks out the pen and paper to work it out. In the end, Trevor swings the Behemoth at Sean for a casual 40, the Mystic and Chosen at Matt for 87, and the Warcaller and Sage at Mike for 79. This wipes out the table, and as he's dying, Matt reveals that he'd consider casting Spikeweaver, but he thought that he'd have at least another turn before dying. Now, in this game, I am playing my Jhoira deck, and I keep a hand with Preordain, Izzet Boilerworks, Aetherize, Island, Sponsire of Ulamog, Void Winnower, and Tarnished Citadel. Harry is playing his Mairsil the Pretender deck and keeps a hand with Izzet Boilerworks, 2 Islands, Sunken Hollow, Chaos Warp, Soul Ring, Galecaster Colossus. Bree is playing her Lyzolda deck and keeps a hand with Mountain, Dark Petition, Sign in Blood, Everlasting Torment, Perilous Mirror, Mud Button, Torch Runner, and Read the Bones. And Sean is playing Inalla and keeps a hand with Command Tower, Twin Cast, Kefnit's Monument, Panharmonicon, Sidrax's Alchemist, Mountain, and Reanimate. Sean wins the die roll and starts us off. Sean plays a Command Tower and passes. Harry plays an island and casts Soul Ring before passing to me. I play an island and cast Preordain, keeping 1 on top and putting 1 on the bottom before drawing. Bree plays a mountain and passes. Sean plays also mountain and passes. Harry plays Sunken Hollow tapped and passes. I play Izzet Boilerwork, return the island to my hand, and I discard Sponsire of Ulamog. Bree misses her land drop, discards a card, and passes. Sean plays a mountain and casts Herald's Horn, choosing wizards. Harry plays Shivan Reef and passes. I play an island and cast Rhystic Study. Harry responds by casting Izzet Charm, and as I can't pay the 2 colorless, it gets countered. Harry justifies this as helping me out to not embarrass myself by missing any more triggers. Bree misses another land drop and discards a card. Sean looks at the top of his library thanks to the horn, but sadly it's not a wizard. Sean plays a swamp and casts Panharmonicon. Harry plays Mirror Mad Phantasm during his first main phase, and plays Izzet Boilerworks, bouncing an island back to his hand. I play Steam Vents, taking 2 to have it come into play untapped, and pass. Bree finally finds her second land for turn and plays a snow-covered mountain. She then casts Perilous Mirror and passes. Sean has no land for turn, but he does cast Perforos before passing to Harry. During Harry's first main phase, he activates the Mirror Mad Phantasm, shuffling it in and revealing until he finds a card named Mirror Mad Phantasm. He goes deep, and when I say deep, I mean like bottom of the ocean, like Loch Ness Monster hidden deep. He finds numerous combo pieces before he finally finds the Mirror Mad Phantasm once more. Harry then replays the island and pays for his commander. I respond by casting Memory Lapse, and Harry is happy to put his commander on top of his library. For my turn, I play an island and pass. Bree misses another land drop, but swings her Perilous Mirror at Harry for 1. For Sean's turn, he reveals Anarchist with the horn and puts it into his hand before drawing. Sean then casts Reanimate during his main phase to bring back Kozilek the Great Distortion, taking 10 damage. This does trigger Perforos, who with the Panharmonicon means Sean's opponents take 4 damage. Sean then casts Kefnit's Monument and passes turn. Harry plays Reliquary Tower and casts Chaos Warp targeting Kozilek. Sean discards Sidraxic Alchemist to counter with Kozilek. Harry then casts Mairsil, to which I counter with Cryptic Command, also bouncing the Kozilek back to his hand. Harry then moves to combat, swinging the Mirror Mad Phantasm at Sean for 5. I play a mountain for my turn and cast Jhoira before passing. Bree casts Skull Clamp in her first main phase and swings the mirror at Harry for 1. She then equips the clamp onto the mirror during her second main phase, and with the mirror dying, targets the 2 damage at Jhoira. I respond, suspending Emrakul the Promised End, and Jhoira bites the dust. Please note, I forget to move Jhoira off the table until later on. Bree draws 2 cards, but still can't find a land and has to discard down to 7. Sean casts Izzet Signet in his main phase and passes. Harry recasts Mairsil once more and exiles Aetherlane. He then swings the Mirror Mad Phantasm at Sean once more. Harry then delves away enough cards to cast Treasure Cruise for 1 in his second main phase and draws 3 cards. Harry then pays 1 to exile Mairsil until the end of turn, and with his commander re-entering, Harry exiles Anthroplasm. For my turn, I remove a suspend counter, draw a card, and pass to Bree. Bree unfortunately has no lands still and has to discard again. Sean reveals a wizard, Profaner of the Dead, and puts it into his hand. Sean then casts Profaner, using the Inalla trigger, which is doubled with Panharmonicon, to create 2 more tokens of the Profaner, and we all take 6. He also taps the Mirror Mad Phantasm with Kefnit's Monument, and swings the 2 hasty tokens at Harry. Harry blocks one with Mairsil and takes 3 damage. At the end of Sean's second main phase, Harry exiles Mairsil, who returns at Sean's end step, and Harry exiles Sage of Hours. For Harry's turn, he puts 5 counters on Mairsil with Anthroplasm's ability and removes them with the Sage of Hours to take another turn. Harry then casts Thousand Year Elixir and exiles his commander. When Mairsil re-enters, Harry exiles Pestilent Soul Eater at the end of his turn. Harry then starts his next extra turn. Harry does the same cycle to get another turn, and exiles Mairsil to return him at the end of his own turn, exiling Heartless Hidetsugu. Harry then does a shortcut, paying 2 life multiple times as he's taking multiple extra turns, so that he's able to get low enough so that he can kill everyone with Infect and Heartless Hidetsugu. So I don't really have a lot to say in regards to these games, other than the fact that I think Trevor and Harry played them very well. With the first game, I think it was pretty clear from Trevor's opening hand, you knew he was going to explode, but I don't think anyone expected how quickly and how aggressively. He had so much ramp and so much card advantage, it was insane. I think in the case of the game with Harry, Bree, myself, and Sean, Bree unfortunately didn't do very much, and Sean and I only had so many answers to try and slow down Harry. So let me know what you think of this video. I'm not going to be doing this typically because putting 2 games together takes a lot of time and effort, but mostly when games are interesting enough that I think that they merit worth, but aren't long enough to be interesting on their own. Please be sure to tune in every Monday and Thursday at 11 AM Eastern Standard Time for a guaranteed new video. You can also find me on Twitter at MTGMudsta, at Facebook at facebook.com/MTGMudsta, or on Twitch at twitch.tv/MTGMudsta. This video is brought to you in part by support from my Patreons. If you're looking for a way to help out the channel, please be sure to visit the link below or in the About section. As always, thank you guys for watching, and please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more.